So I've just been sent rather a lot of images of a new Horus Heresy Predator tank that's been accidentally leaked by Games Workshop. Hello and welcome back to Warspecs Tactics, where today I thought we'd go over this new leaked Predator tank, what does appear to be a new resculpted plastic kit for the Deimos Pattern Predator, to go alongside all these other fancy Heresy releases redone in plastic. I think it'll be quite popular as it does look pretty cool. Even if you just wanted to field a standard Predator tank for Warhammer 40k, it could be a different way that you could get a different aesthetic for it if you like the old school feel of it. And plus, because it's Heresy, it comes with all manner of fancy new options. So this was one of the kits that I think that most people were fairly sure was coming to the Horus Heresy, seeing as alongside things like the Relic Leviathan Dreadnought and the Sakaran Battle Tank, a bunch of these kits mysteriously went missing from the Forge World range a few months before Horus Heresy 2.0 came out. Currently on the Forge World web store, it appears that only the Plasma and Flamer versions of the Deimos Pattern Predator remain, and that does make me think that these two probably won't be in this kit and aren't getting redone this release. The leak itself is a pretty interesting one. It was originally uploaded to Games Workshop's official Chinese YouTube equivalent channel, I believe called Bilibili, and my guess is that it was probably a scheduling error on their part. We have the Horus Heresy Thursday plastic preview releases. This week they decided to show off some Emperor's Children heads and things. My guess is that this reveal video was scheduled to go live next week or something, and someone just happened to enter in the wrong Thursday as the time that they scheduled the video for. Sometimes people accuse Games Workshop of deliberately leaking things early. I think that this one was just a genuine mistake, to be honest. They have deleted the video now. Though unfortunately for them, things don't really need to be up for long before they're in the wilds of the internet. It's been shared already across a bunch of different places, including Discord, Reddit and YouTube, and I have seen the original source new video myself. It does appear to be a full plastic Predator kit, with far more options than the standard one gets you at the moment in 40k. As well as the more typical options, you also have Volkite and Graviton weapons thrown in. If we go through the various guns then, we've got 4 options for main turrets, and then 4 different options for sponsons. There might be other stuff out there, but it wasn't shown in this reveal trailer at least yet. First up, we've got a Predator Annihilator pattern loadout. The turret apparently is called Gravis Lascannons here. I did notice that in the Chaos Codex they had the updated stats for the 40k Predator, getting toughness 8 and d6 plus 2 damage Lascannons. I do wonder if we might actually keep the name Gravis Lascannon for the 40k version of the Predator Annihilator. I think whatever they choose to call them, it seems very likely in the new Space Marine Codex they will be more threatening like their Chaos equivalents. In any case, this model also shows off Lascannon sponsons as well, so you very much can buy this kit and just build your standard Predator Annihilator for either Chaos or Loyalists in 40k. I'm still not sure if they've done quite enough to make the Chaos Predator worth taking over the other various gun options in the heavy support. Toughness 8 and more dangerous Lascannons though certainly haven't hurt it. Next up, they've got a standard base loadout for the thing, which they'd simply call a Predator Cannon. This would be the equivalent of the Predator Auto Cannon for Warhammer 40k, a really big souped up one. In 40k they do strike with damage 3, though at least on the 40k datasheet they do seem flatly inferior to the Lascannons. From this one it does look like you can have the turret pointed slightly upwards if you want it to. Personally I think I prefer a bit more of a flat trajectory look for it. It does look like it's shooting off into the air, though I suppose it might be an extreme long range shot. This one's also got some heavy bolter sponsons on it, so you can build the standard Destructor version as well alongside the Annihilator. Next up, because it's Heresy, you can field a tank with all the Volkites, kind of similar to the really big Volkite that we had for the Kratos tank. This one's called a Volkite Macrosaker, and I believe that this isn't a gun that we've actually got any profile in Warhammer 40k, a new loadout for the Deimos Predator that they didn't sell before. It is in the Horus Heresy rules for the thing, though currently you wouldn't be able to field this in a Chaos or Imperial army. Finally, last but not least, we've got an enormous Grav gun. This one is a Graviton cannon. In Heresy you can field Graviton guns rather than Grav guns. I think this one's really quite a cool turret, to be honest. Looks like it'd be the bane of heavy armoured things everywhere. On this one you can also see a heavy flamer sponson on the left hand side. It's interestingly got twin barrels mounted side by side, though I did find it a bit interesting that this one seems to have a heavy flamer on the one side and a heavy bolter on the other side for some reason. My genuine guess is probably Games Workshop's forgot to swap out the heavy bolter for another heavy flamer for it. As to my knowledge, I don't think this is even a legal loadout for the tank in Heresy. Again, a great big grav gun isn't one that we've got rules for in 40k, though I suppose it isn't impossible that they might add some in. In terms of options not shown off here, we haven't got anything showed off for the pintle mounted options. I guess there is every chance that they just include the same sprue that they had in the Deimos Pattern Rhino, giving you the option to field things like combi bolters on the roof. Again, they're on the Horus Heresy datasheet, so seems at least fairly likely. And otherwise, I'm guessing that we probably don't have the other big main guns for the tank. The other options are a conversion beam cannon, neutron blaster, and magma melter cannon. All of those are currently not sold by Forge World to my knowledge, and also don't appear to be on this kit. I think having a choice of 4 different turrets for a standard tank really isn't the worst thing in the world. I wonder if Games Workshop will have some other way to release these, maybe adding them back in as a Forge World upgrade sprue or something. They do remain legal options on the Heresy datasheet, so my guess is that they'll have some plan for how you can field them, even if they didn't appear on this kit. Here's just a quick comparison between the old kit and the new one. As per the rest of the Heresy releases, it does seem that they've held very faithful to the original design. The front slanted armor plate looks pretty much the same, so do the exhaust stacks and turrets. It's basically just a reimagining of this thing in plastic. Most of the changes tend to be quite superficial. Definitely a lot easier to work with plastic than resin though for the vast majority of people. Plus I can't help but think that this is also likely to be much cheaper than the Forge World equivalent. Currently the Forge World Predator is a whopping £70 or $108, and if this one follows the same trajectory as the Deimos Pattern Rhino, hopefully this one will be no more expensive than the standard Predator that we have already, £40 or $65. It's certainly always possible for Games Workshop to disappoint on the prices, but with the Deimos Rhino it was actually cheaper than I was expecting, though I'm not convinced the same will hold true of this thing, seeing as it does have quite a lot of fun gun options. Finally, for a lot of people, I think a big question will be whether or not it gets 40k rules for the other fun guns, and at the moment my current guess is, at least in the near future, probably not when it drops. My reason for guessing that is that currently we already have Deimos Pattern Predators on sale with the Plasma and Flamer turrets. They don't have current 40k rule support, just a Legends datasheet from a little while back. You can still field them in more casual or narrative games, though basically they just fall into the unsupported category from Games Workshop at the moment. I know the Kratos tank did get a datasheet, though I'd argue it's a bit different. It's a really big brand new kit that they would absolutely have a big incentive to try and make sure 40k players pick them up as well, whereas these ones represent more sort of war gear options on a standard Predator. So my guess at least would be that these probably won't get 40k rules on the drop, but they might well get them updated in a future Imperial Armor Compendium to hopefully sell more of these to 40k players. Other maybe slightly variant tanks like the Vindicator Laser Destroyer get Forge World support there, and I think that having the other fun guns available for 40k armies could be quite fun, though I suspect that they'd keep something like that relic rule to make them more edge case uses rather than being the optimal thing to spam in your army. To be honest, with their track record, I think there's not all that much chance of Predators achieving that. So anyway, let me know what you think of the new models and all the fun new guns. Any speculation or further insight is all greatly appreciated. While we're back on the subject of Horus Heresy, I would just like to give a quick shout out to a Horus Heresy Discord server that I've been using. I'll leave a link to the Horus Heresy Age of Darkness Discord server down in the video description. I have found it useful to have a rapid reaction place to be able to ask heresy questions, as I'm sure most of you will be aware that I'm more of a 40k player myself. Totally recommend checking it out if you are looking at taking the plunge into heresy land. Otherwise, feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics if you'd like to see more like this. I will cover Games Workshop's news and releases as they come out, and hopefully slightly before if they happen to leak them like this. And finally, I will just mention the channel's Patreon page quickly. It is what allows me to keep on making all these videos as my main thing, so if you have been enjoying the updates quite a bit, any support is enormously appreciated. Channel patrons do get a fair few advantages, seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things happen next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with the chance to win some big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.